Hey there, what's up? If you're a beginner, today's video is going to be extremely helpful for you. One of my biggest difficulties when I started using Flutter was always knowing what exactly should go into each property. Because, sometimes it's very obvious. You just come here to height and you see the type that it takes and it's a double. And you know what a double is. It's basically just a fractional number, so you know exactly what to put in. And here as well, you just go, oh, type widget. Everything's a widget, so here you go. But sometimes it can be a little bit trickier. For example, if you go on the app bar, it doesn't say app bar, it says preferred size widget. And what I'm going to go into today is how you can always know what each property takes, and from now on, every time you'll see a property, you will know how to figure out what that property takes. No matter what widget, no matter what property, you will have the tools to figure out what exactly the property that you want to fill takes. So if you want to learn that, just stick around. Here we are. I'm just going to get straight into it. The UI is super simple. We just have a column and a container, and I'm just going to use this container right here. I'm going to delete this and this. This was just to show you that the container was in fact here. If I save it now, it will just disappear. But what I want to do right here is, for example, there's the decoration property right here, and as we can tell already, it takes a type decoration. And this is exactly one of the things that gets people confused. The decoration property takes a type decoration. So what I would usually do, if I didn't know anything, I would just come here and be like, hey, does this exist? And then it's like, oh, it doesn't. Oh, wait, it does, but it's an abstract class. And abstract classes can be instantiated. And this is the very first clue to your detective investigation of finding out where exactly should be placed here. Because now you know that there's an abstract class called decoration. So what you do, you just copy it, you come over here to Google, you come here and you type in the class that you just discovered is an abstract class, and you say decoration class, Flutter documentation, okay? For some reason, it wasn't the very first result, but it's the third one, decoration class. It's not decoration property. You want to go to the page of the class. That's what you want. And once you're there, they tell you exactly what you want to know. The implementers of that abstract class. That means that these classes right here are implementing the abstract class of decoration class. And if you go back to Android Studio, once you hit Control Q again here, it says type decoration. That means that any of these classes right here are type decoration because they are implementing the decoration class. So for example, in this case, you could technically use any of these classes right here on the container's decoration. However, you also need to think if it makes sense or not. First, let's use one that makes sense. Why not use FlutterLogoDecoration? You've probably never heard of it, so let's check it out. You just gotta copy this, that's it. And it even tells you right here what it takes and everything. And it even describes to you what it is. It's an immutable description of how to paint Flutter's logo. So once we're here again, if we just replace this with the Flutter logo, now all we gotta do is hit save, and boom, there's a Flutter logo right there. Did you even know you could do that? Just use a container to represent a Flutter logo. And let's not stop here. Now that we have the Flutter logo decoration class, let's see what it takes. It has a property called style, which takes a type Flutter logo style. You probably never heard of that either, so let's go for it right now. So once again, let's try that, Flutter logo style, and then do this. And again, this isn't the answer, but if you hold it over, it says Enums can't be instantiated. Now this is different from the whole abstract class part. So in this case, we don't have an abstract class, we have enums, and to access those enums, you just gotta do dot, and now you have the four options right here. You have either values, stacked, horizontal, or mark only. And in this case, if you wanted to know how to explore this, you would just go ahead and just pretty much try them all out. Copy this, change it to this, do it again, this time horizontal, and again, values. And once again, as you're typing it, it tells you right here, it takes a list of type Flutter logo style. Now this is more specific, but in this case, you know for sure that this list already exists, so you really just gotta access one of those values. And let me just give this a single child scroll view, just so the app doesn't crash, and so we can scroll. Okay, I'm gonna hit save, and now we know what each enum does. So this is mark only. This is stacked, which is the mark above the Flutter text. Then you have the horizontal, which is the mark and then the Flutter text on its side. And if we scroll, this is value 0. And then if we do value 1, we figure out that the list of values is pretty much this list right here. Because if we do 2 now, it'll be this one, and 3 will give us an error because the list's length is only 3, as it says right here. However, let's go back a little bit and remember that right here it says underline tab indicator, which If you click on it, it tells you it's used with the tab bar indicator to draw a horizontal line below the selected tab. So it doesn't really make sense to use it right here, now does it? Because this is a container, not a tab bar at all. But would it work? It would, because the type would be correct. If I hit save, it just disappears because we haven't really given it anything. But if we give it a border side, for example, what does the border side take? It takes a border side. In this case, the little trick I did before would work because the border side is not an abstract class. This is why for beginners I always say, whenever you don't know, just try the most obvious option, which is, in this case, it's border side. If it doesn't work, then you get the error, and then you know what you gotta find out. If you gotta find out what enum it is, or what abstract class it is, and then what implementers that abstract class has, etc. In this case, because you just tried this, you didn't even need to go to the documentation. It worked the first time, so great, let's do it. Now we can give this like a color, colors.lime, and then a width. Let's give it 5, and that's enough. I'm just gonna hit save, and there you go. This right here is the container. We can't see the rest, of course, because it's transparent. But even though the underlined tab indicator wasn't made for the container, because it implements the abstract class of decoration, and this property right here takes that type of decoration, then it works all the same. And if you wanted to give this logo right here an underline, all you have to do is delete the height and width and hit the save button, and boom, it has an underline. If you want to make the width the same as the logo's width, then of course you can just give it the same width, like so. Or if it's not hard-coded, you could access the widget's size to get that value. And if you don't know how to do that, you can click the video on the top right now. And just to make sure you've understood everything, let's go ahead and come back here. And by the way, I'm going to add all of these links to the description, but you can come back right here, and now let's try shape decoration. And by the way, the most used with the container is the box decoration. And right here it says an immutable description of how to paint an arbitrary shape. So let's see what we can do with it. Let's forget about the underline tab indicator for a moment. Use a shape decoration. And now we already see that we need to do something with it. We need to have the parameter shape because it is required. Shape takes a shape border type. So let's do that thing again, shape border. And it doesn't work. Let's hold the mouse over, see what's up. Abstract classes can't be instantiated. Okay, let's go here to the shape decoration class. It already has here the shape border, but if it didn't, you could just search it right here, shape border. And then here it is, shape border class. You click it, and then it says right here, base class for shape outlines, and what we want is the implementers. In this case, let's use box border, why not? Obviously, in this case, if you don't know anything, you should just experiment with all of them and see what they do. So we go over here and we replace shape border with box border. And the crazy thing now is that this is also an abstract class. So we go further down the rabbit hole and click the box border class. And now here are the implementers, for example, border. And again, if you don't know what it is, you can click it and it will tell you a border of a box comprised of 4 sides. So now we come here and we know it's border, and border finally works. So I want you to understand that first we came here and saw that shape took shape border, and then one of the implementers of shape border was box border, which was also an abstract class. So we went ahead and used the border class. So right now we're using a class that implements the abstract class of box border, which implements for itself the shape border class. So you see how this can get. And that's exactly why it's so important to know how to figure out what goes where. Now, obviously, now that I'm here at the border, I just do control space and it tells you right here. And for example, let's do the top. And then here it takes a border side. Now we already know this works, but if you didn't, you would type it in and see it works. And we can just do the same thing. Colors dot, let's do indigo this time, and width, let's give it 5 again, and hit the save button, and there it is. We just did the same thing in a completely different way. And of course, going all the way back to the decoration class, the last implementer that I didn't show is box decoration, but I don't really want to waste much time. I'll just put it up here, give this a color, lime, and then give it a height and hit the save button, and there it is. This is one of the videos that I really wish I could have watched back when I was starting to learn Flutter. I really think this can make you level up in your Flutter level if you always know how to figure out what a property takes, because that's essentially what Flutter is, widgets that take properties, and you just gotta know how to play with it. So I really hope this video can help someone as much as it would have helped me back then. If it does, I just ask you to hit that like button and subscribe to keep on learning more about Flutter. Thank you for watching. This is Flutter Mentor and out.